The 4% rule was revolutionary when William Bengen developed it in 1994. For an entire generation of retirees, it worked. You pulled 4% from your portfolio in year 1, adjusted for inflation each year after, and your savings reliably lasted 30 years. It's not that the rule was wrong, it's that the conditions it was built on no longer exist in 2026. Interest rates, healthcare costs, life expectancy, and market volatility have all shifted. Planning your retirement income around a 1994 rule in 2026 is like using a paper map to navigate around road closures you can't see. Here's what's actually happening. Social Security is facing a potential 24% across-the-board cut by 2032. Medicare premiums just jumped nearly 10% to $202.90 per month. Inflation is still running above the Fed's target. And the stock market, it can drop 30% in a single year, as we've seen multiple times in recent memory. If you're pulling a flat 4% out of a portfolio that just lost a third of its value, you're not withdrawing income. You're liquidating your future at a discount. Today, I'm walking you through the 3-bucket retirement income strategy, a framework that financial advisors have quietly used for decades to protect their clients from the exact risks that are threatening your retirement right now. By the end of this video, you'll know how to structure your savings so that a market crash doesn't derail your lifestyle, and inflation doesn't quietly shrink your purchasing power year after year. Let me show you how this actually works. The 3-bucket strategy divides your retirement savings across 3 time horizons. Each bucket has a specific job. Each bucket holds different kinds of assets. And critically, each bucket gets refilled at different times and from different sources. Bucket 1 is your safety bucket. This holds 1 to 2 years of your expected annual expenses in cash, high-yield savings, short-term treasuries, or money market funds. If your annual retirement spending is $70,000, Bucket 1 holds between $70,000 and $140,000. This money earns modest interest, maybe 4 to 5% in 2026, but its job is not growth. Its job is stability. When the market crashes, this is the money you live on. Bucket 2 is your intermediate bucket. This holds roughly 3 to 10 years of expenses in moderately conservative investments, short to intermediate term bond funds, balanced funds, fixed annuities, and high-quality dividend stocks. For our $70,000 per year retiree, Bucket 2 holds between $210,000 and $700,000. This bucket earns more than cash, typically 5 to 7% annually, while taking on moderate risk. When Bucket 1 runs low, you refill it from Bucket 2. Bucket 3 is your growth bucket. This holds everything else: long-term stock market investments, index funds, real estate, and other growth assets. This money won't be touched for at least 10 years. Because of that long time horizon, short-term market volatility doesn't hurt you. When the market crashes by 30%, you don't panic sell. You wait. History shows markets recover over 7 to 10 year periods, every single time. Bucket 3 is where real wealth compounds. Now here's the part most people miss. Your Social Security check and any pension income act as a 4th income stream that reduces how much each bucket needs to hold. If you're receiving $24,000 per year in Social Security and your expenses are $70,000, your actual portfolio withdrawal target is only $46,000 annually. That drops your Bucket 1 requirement to between $46,000 and $92,000. This is how smart retirees with modest savings still retire comfortably. Let me give you a concrete example for a couple with $800,000 in retirement savings and $36,000 per year in combined Social Security income, targeting a $70,000 annual lifestyle. Their Bucket 1, 2 years of the $34,000 gap, holds about $70,000 in a high-yield savings account and short-term treasuries. Their Bucket 2, 8 years of expenses, holds roughly $270,000 in bond funds, a fixed annuity, and balanced funds. Their Bucket 3 holds the remaining $460,000 in a diversified stock portfolio. When the market drops 20% in year 3 of retirement, they don't panic. They don't sell anything in Bucket 3. They live on Bucket 1 money. Meanwhile, Bucket 3 eventually recovers. When the market returns to prior highs, they harvest gains from bucket 3 to refill bucket 2, and harvest from bucket 2 to refill bucket 1. That's the rebalancing rhythm. This brings us to the question everyone asks. How often do you rebalance? The traditional answer is once per year, typically at the start of the year or after a major market event. But there's a smarter approach. Watch bucket 1 specifically. When it drops below 1 year of expenses, refill from bucket 2. When bucket 2 drops below 3 years of expenses, refill from bucket 3. But only if bucket 3 assets have recovered to at least their original value. If bucket 3 is still down, you wait. You have buckets 1 and 2 to live on while you wait. Now let's talk about the tax piece, because this is where most retirees unknowingly leave tens of thousands on the table. The account location of each bucket matters enormously. Bucket 1 assets ideally sit in taxable brokerage accounts and Roth IRAs, where withdrawals don't trigger income tax. Bucket 2 assets can sit in traditional IRAs and 401ks, where withdrawals are taxed as ordinary income, but at lower rates because you're pulling smaller amounts. Bucket 3's long-term growth assets often work best in Roth accounts, where decades of compounding happen tax-free. Here's the tax-efficient withdrawal sequence that saves the most money over a 30-year retirement. First, withdraw from Bucket 1's taxable accounts to stay in the lowest possible tax bracket. Second, strategically convert traditional IRA assets to Roth IRAs during your early 60s, before required minimum distributions begin at age 73. Third, let Bucket 3's Roth assets grow untouched for as long as possible, because they're tax-free to your heirs. The 2026 tax environment makes this even more urgent. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act introduced a temporary $6,000 deduction per person for anyone 65 or older through tax year 2028. If you're married and both qualify, that's $12,000 off your taxable income annually. For retirees in their early to mid-60s, this is a 4-year window to do aggressive Roth conversions at the lowest possible tax cost. Let me pull this all together with the 3 biggest mistakes I see people make with this strategy. Mistake number 1. Not holding enough in bucket 1. 2 years of expenses might feel like too much cash sitting idle, but that safety margin is what lets you ignore market crashes. Shrink it, and you're forced to sell investments at the worst possible time. Mistake number 2. Not rebalancing. The 3-bucket strategy only works if you actively refill buckets from top to bottom. If you just drain bucket 1 and never touch buckets 2 and 3, you're not doing the strategy. You're just spending cash. Mistake number 3. Ignoring Social Security timing. Every month you delay claiming past age 67 adds roughly 0.2% to your permanent benefit, up to 24% more at age 70. That increase means you need less in your buckets. Integrate your Social Security strategy with your bucket strategy, and the math gets dramatically better. The 3-bucket strategy isn't a magic formula. It won't make you rich. What it will do is give you predictable monthly income, protect you from the panic selling that destroys retirements, and let you sleep at night during market downturns that would otherwise terrify you. Your next step is simple. Write down your current annual expenses. Subtract any guaranteed income sources like Social Security and pensions. The result is your portfolio withdrawal target. Multiply that by 2, that's bucket 1. Multiply it by 8, that's bucket 2. Everything else goes in bucket 3. If your current savings don't match that framework, you have work to do. But now you know what you're working toward. In our next video, we're breaking down the 5 biggest Medicare mistakes that cost retirees thousands every single year, and most of them happen before you even sign up. If you don't want to miss that, subscribe now. And if you're already using a bucket strategy or something similar, drop a comment. Tell us how it's working for you and what you'd change. Your experience might help someone else retire with more confidence. We'll see you in the next